Les, we left the last segment talking about sovereign immunity and understanding how that affects people's everyday life that they don't really even realize until it happens. Then you go into no fault, and mandatory BI is a really hot topic right now. They're trying to get it passed. It's a lot of stuff going on in Tallahassee. They're trying to get it to where we join the other 49 states who have mandatory BI, because guess what? It works for them, right? And so the biggest segment that we probably need to just really hit home about, in the event that you're involved in a case with sovereign immunity, in the event that you're involved with a case where there's nobody that has insurance, but they caused the accident, or maybe they don't have enough insurance, this component is the most important thing that you can buy on your policy, and we refer to it as policy, uninsured motorist or underinsured motorist coverage. Les, teeing you up a big softball again, but knock it out of the park. Why do we need coverage?
Well, because of what we started out talking about at the very beginning, the fact that in the state of Florida, if you want to be legal to drive a car from an insurance standpoint, your financial responsibility requirements that the state of Florida puts on you, you have to have a policy that has property damage coverage. So if you run into somebody's vehicle, you have to have at least $10,000 of property damage liability coverage to fix or repair or replace that other person's vehicle. And you have to have the PIP coverage, the $10,000 in PIP benefits, and that's it. That's all you have to have in order to legally drive a vehicle in the state of Florida. But if you cause a wreck and all you have is that basic policy, that means you, as the bad driver, the offending driver, you have no protection for you if somebody makes a claim against you for personal injury, so your personal assets could be exposed. Or if you're on the receiving end, you're one of those people that are injured, there's a very good chance. I mean, I think in Bay County, if you get in a wreck, probably at least 50% of them, the person has no bodily injury liability coverage. So if you get hurt, if you get knocked out of work, even for a few days, you don't have sick time to use, and so it's you're coming out of pocket if you can't go to work. Unless you have uninsured motorist coverage, you're going to be left with nothing to pursue in order to compensate you for your medical bills, for your lost wages.
No matter who's at fault.
No matter who's at fault.
No matter how bad your damages are or your injuries.
And you hear the term, "Oh, I got full coverage." Well, full coverage, legal coverage in Florida is
that's what you said.
It's nothing. I mean, think about it even from a property damage standpoint. I mean, look at what cars cost today. $10,000 for property damage liability. And if you have a vehicle that's even remotely new, I mean, even 5, 6, 7 years old, you're not going to be able to replace a vehicle for that much.
Like some of yours.
Or like most of yours, all of yours. It's just the insurance limits are woefully inadequate in terms of what is required for the state of Florida. So you have to protect yourself, and the way you do that is by purchasing uninsured motorist coverage. It is the cheapest line of coverage there is on your auto policy. And what it means is if you get involved in a wreck, the other person doesn't have insurance or doesn't have enough, you have a benefit on your own policy that you can pursue for those things such as lost wages, past medical expenses, future medical expenses, anything that you might need as a result of an injury you suffered.
Now, Les, that also includes what we call phantom vehicles. So like if you had a hit and run and you have a hard time even proving the existence of a striking vehicle, that's why you investigate, that's why you hire lawyers. And Larry and I had a case, man, I guess probably at least 15 years ago, to where it was a phantom vehicle and it left an individual with a hangman's fracture, with basically an incomplete quad. But without that information, we would never been able to pursue the case. But also being able, because she had the uninsured motorist coverage, that's what we were going after for that to kick in.
Phantom vehicles can get a little tricky because there's got to be an impact. So you think of the classic hit and run, but there have been instances where a phantom vehicle has caused somebody to take an evasive maneuver that ended up causing them to lose control. So let's say you're driving down a 2-lane highway late at night, somebody crosses over, comes over the center line, and you dive out of the way. They don't actually hit you, but their action forced you off the road. Phantom vehicles in that situation, one of the reasons why you want to get an attorney involved really quickly is because most policies will say, well, we need to see evidence of an impact, or there's got to be some independent corroborating evidence, an eyewitness, or a security camera, or anything else that can show that this other person did it. Otherwise, people could say, oh, a car ran me off the road, and try to make a claim. So the insurance company is going to make it a little bit tougher, but if you have an attorney that knows what to do in terms of investigating claims, where to look, how to back those things up, I mean, you're going to be way ahead of the game versus if you try to handle it yourself.
Amen.